Okay, so we have more information regarding this update, but let me just say this before we jump into anything, right? This update is going to be massive. So that means that there is going to be a lot of information here and a lot of information to take in. You're not going to do that in one day. So we have more information and we're going to try to go over some of it, but we're definitely not going to cover everything here. But we're just going to give you the basics as to what to expect come this new update. So the first things first is going to be the new loading screen. I like the art. It's kind of like a little throwback to the beginning when you got Barbarian and you got Wesley and they're kind of fighting it out. Now you can actually have this battle against a familiar, if you will. So that's going to be interesting. I like it. Not too bad. Now let's go over to the next little screenshot. By the way, this is screenshots from Hexapod, which you can use line chat and get all of these screenshots for. So check out Hexapod. It's pretty interesting. Now right away, you already know what this is. This is going to be more research. Now it looks like you will need to do some research to start unlocking some of these familiars potential, but we all knew that was going to happen. There aren't just empty research trees for no reason. More research is coming. We've been known that already. Now there is going to also be a Newcastle Skein. If you can't see it too well, it basically says max coalition army size and wonder travel speed. So it's going to be a skin that's pretty much just for the wonders, which of course we kind of already knew that was going to happen as well. I like this skin. The only thing that I probably will not like is that whenever you have a prisoner, it's going to get in the way of your lion, which is like the main attraction of the skins. So yeah, that's the only thing that I probably will not like about the skin. But outside of that, pretty solid skin. For me though, we could probably do without the purple. If it was like red and black, the background, you know, that'll be amazing for me. But regardless, it is what it is. So yeah, more research. We've been knew that that was gonna happen in a Newcastle skin. We've been knew that as well. Like, let's be honest. But let's keep going to the next screenshot. Here's where it gets a little scary, if you will. Bright Talent Orb, 3,000 gems. Now it says, use this to awaken and upgrade army talents for familiars that are of rarity 1 through 3. Then you have the Brilliant Talent Orb. Use this to awaken and upgrade army talents for familiars that are rarity 4 through 5. Now if you don't really know what rarity means, if you go to the familiars, they'll have like this number next to them. It'll be like a 3, like a 4. That basically just tells you how rare they are, but this is going to go off of that. Now does that mean that you take the familiars that you already have and use this on them? That way it unlocks it for you. If that's the case, then it's probably not that bad, but it's still pretty bad when you gotta use, I'm thinking anywhere around 50,000-60,000 gems just to try to get them all unlocked, maybe even more. And not only that, it says to awaken and upgrade army talent. So it seems like it's not just going to be to awaken them whenever you're upgrading a talent. I hope it's not like a level 1 through 2, level 2 to 3. You gotta use one of these all the time, or even more than one. I really hope that's not the way that this is gonna go. But regardless, this is the scary part for a lot of the free-to-play players and a lot of the players that don't really spend a lot or don't have a bunch of gems saved up. This could really throw a wrench into a lot of any sort of plans that you might have had. So something to look into. The Bright Talent Orb, the Brilliant Talent Orb, it might eat into your gems. So be careful, especially during the first couple of days when a lot of people are just testing stuff out. If you're not too sure, save your gems, save all the whatever resources, anything, until more things are known. So that's my opinion on that. Now here's where we get into some of these, and for this, let me actually take out my little advertisement thing, right? There we go. So the first one, Earthquake. We'll just give you the level 10 previous, right? Level 10 preview at the start of the battle reduces enemies' army defense by 15. That's pretty significant. Now, not because it's defense, because we all know that defense ain't all that, but reduces army defense. So that means that there's going to be an HP one and an attack one. Next one, Ruthless Rot. At the start of the battle, reduces enemies' infantry defense by 40%. That's pretty significant. The next one, Scorching Seer. At the start of battle, reduces enemies' range max HP by 40%. So you get a theme, right? Next one, Suit Up. At the start of the battle, increases infantry attack by 15%. And the last one, Deadly Slash. At the start of battle, reduces enemies' cavalry max HP by 40%. Now you're already seeing a theme. Like if you're going to be attacking with only cavalry, I bet you there's going to be at least 5 familiars that are going to boost only cavalry, whether it's defense, HP, attack, etc. So yeah. Not only that, if you're going to be attacking with cavalry, the only thing that are maybe your concern are range, so maybe you'll start using familiars that'll counteract their ranged. There's a lot of different combos that you can do, and it's not just heroes. Like the only thing that I'm kind of afraid of, right? Not necessarily for me, but just in general, people in general don't know how to use their heroes, let alone heroes and familiars now to their best ability. So yeah, this is gonna be quite interesting. Anyway, next, Drown Out. At the start of battle, reduces enemies' army max HP by 15%. Like I said. At the start of battle, reduces enemies' infantry max HP by 40%. The next one is at the start of battle, increases ranged attack by 15%. What is the next one? At the start of battle, reduces enemies' cavalry defense. And the very last one, at the start of battle, increases cavalry attack by 15%. Now, let me just say this, okay? Because we know that when we're attacking, we're going to be able to use some familiars. And we're going to pick and choose, like, okay, use more cavalry familiars, range familiars, etc. But also remember that we're going to be able to put familiars in our wall. And if you take a look at some of these, like Drown Out, reduces enemies' army max HP by 15%. That's already looking like one that I want in my wall, because when you reduce their whole army, that's a win. It takes the guessing away, like, are they going to send cavalry? Are they going to send range? Are they going to send this? If you just put reducing army anything on your wall, you're going to be good. Now, of course, I'm sure there's also going to be ones that are going to increase your army attack. So if that's the case, then you will also want some of that. Now, let's go to the next. Whirlwind. Let's see. Stuns one of your enemy's largest squads for 8 seconds when 10% of your troops have... It cuts off, but I'm guessing have been defeated. I'm guessing. Now, a lot of people might not understand this because a lot of people still don't understand how squads work. But stunning one squad for 8 seconds is a lot. Like, that pretty much takes away one squad attack. And that's really good. So this is going to be really interesting because hopefully this makes people try to understand squads more. How do they work, etc. So Whirlwind looks pretty interesting to me, especially when you're hitting a larger opponent. One squad could be freaking 4 million troops. So yeah, that could be a sleeper right there to the Whirlwind. Now, next one, Hardy Fest. It completely cuts off. Well, the level 1 preview says at the start of battle, increases army max HP by 1.5%. But it cuts off. It doesn't really tell you. I'm guessing it'll be 15%. But okay, Hardy Fest, that already seems like one that you would want on your wall, because if it increases your max HP, your max army HP by 15%, that's one that you would want. Knock on wood. Anyway, increases range defense by 20% for 4 seconds when 10% of your ranged troops have fallen. Now that is increased by 80% for 10 seconds when it is at max, when 10% of your ranged troops have fallen. That's actually pretty interesting. Not so much when it's defense, but if it does like HP, that'll be really interesting. Lash Out increases cavalry max HP by 80%. So, okay, this is pretty much the same one, but with 80%. And then the last one is the ranged equivalent. So, this one is actually pretty interesting because 10% of your troops will go down really relatively easy. So, these are pretty interesting ones to have. I want to see more about how that would work. Next one. It says at the start of battle grants a 60% boost to heroes' tactics skills, increasing squad attack dealt as damage. That one is really good. That one is really good, and I'll tell you why. If you guys ever see when you're in a battle and your heroes get like huge and they do like their special attack and then the opponent's morale decreases a bunch every time they do that, that's what that's boosting. It increases squad attack dealt as damage. That one is also going to be a sleeper, turbocharge. I like that one. Anyway, let's keep going. Rock On increases cavalry defense by 80%, so it's pretty much the equivalent of the last one, except this one's cavalry. The shell tier, I don't really know what that one even does. At the start of the battle, increases army defense by 1.5. I'm guessing it goes up to 15 at max. Unfortunately, it gets cut off. Here is Videl. I guess she wants to be in the video. No, you don't want to be in the video? Now we got Bonehead Funeral Rites. This is pretty much the infantry equivalent of the last things that we were talking about. Increase infantry defense by 80% for 10 seconds, blah blah blah. We know that one already. And then the last one, The Last Dance, increases infantry max HP by 20% for 4 seconds when 10% of your infantry troops have fallen. We already pretty much know how that's gonna go. What my question is, for these kind of familiars, are these familiars that you're going to be wanting to use when you're using only one troop attack, like an infantry attack, cavalry attack? Are these familiars that are going to make that top 5? Probably not the defense one, but like the HP one? That would be kind of interesting, I would say. Next one, now we're getting into the doozies, if you will. These are the ones that are going to be interesting. Now, Gemming Gremlin, level 10 preview, increases infantry attack by 100% when 10% of your infantry troops have fallen. That's 100%. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. This effect can stack. Okay, this is where it becomes a little too much, I feel. Number of fallen troops required will be recalculated after each activation. So what you're telling me is that increases infantry attack by 100% when 10% of your infantry troops have fallen is going to happen every 10%. So basically we're talking 1,000%, right? Listen, I don't really know. I will say this. We have to see this in action, but the way that it's described right here is that as soon as you lose 10% of your troops, you'll get 100% infantry attack. Now, of course, this is the same for cavalry and range. Obviously, the next two are going to be the cavalry and ranged equivalent. But this effect can stack. Number of fallen troops required will be recalculated after each activation because, of course, you've already lost 10%. So they'll just take that and they'll recalculate. And listen, there has to be some sort of like, because if that's the case, the troops that you're going to be attacking, they're going to be infinitely strong. Like, what the hell? This right here are the ones to look out for, because it feels like your troops, by the time you're down to your last like 10%, are going to be on some sort of steroid. And I don't know if that, because everything so far was kind of balanced. And then you get into this. Increases attack by 100% when 10% of your infantry troops have fallen. This effect can stack. So let's say you have these three, right? And let's say you put these three in your wall. How do you zero somebody? How do you zero somebody? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm hopeful that it's not the way that it's surely described here, that there is like some sort of drawback or something, because if there isn't, this might break the game right here. Right here, this might break the game. Also, Goblin, his army talent is Booby Prize. Let's go to the next ones, okay? Now we're getting into the Pact 4 ones. The level 10 preview for the first one is stuns all enemy heroes for 5 seconds when 15% of your troops have fallen. That's okay, because that might stun them and not make them do their squad attack, which, like I keep mentioning, is pretty huge. But coming from these last familiars that we were just talking about, that seems like nothing, right? Next one, summons a shield that protects 7% of your cavalry troops from a killing blow when 12% of your cavalry troops have fallen. Again, this seems like something that you would definitely want to add on a cavalry only attack, for instance. And then the next one, Snow Shield in what is it? Gilded Guard. That's just the range and infantry equivalent to this same one. But these are something that you would want to send when you're only attacking with one troop type, for instance. These sounds pretty good. 7% of your cavalry, that's... You might not think that that's a lot, but it really is, especially on the bigger marches, for sure. Now, let's go into the next one. And okay, so the first one we got is Huey Hobbs. Now, these are the paid familiars, if you will. The first one is deals 150% damage every 4 seconds for up to 5 times to one of the largest enemy squads. Damage is based on your initial infantry attack when 8% of your troops have fallen. So, there's a couple of things to unpack here. The first thing is the 150% damage every 4 seconds for up to 5 times. That's almost like it acts like a different squad. So this is almost like adding another squad, and that's a lot. That's a lot. The other thing to note is that it says damage is based on your initial infantry attack when 8% of your troops have fallen. So it sneakily stays under that 10% threshold that we were just talking about not too long ago. So that's really interesting that they did that. Maybe they know something that we don't. Also, the next couple of ones are just the same one except ranged and cavalry. One thing to note though, it says, do you see under the bunny, it says 0 out of 160, and it has like a gold stone. 0 out of 160. So okay, hold on. That gold stone is a brilliant stone. Or I shouldn't say stone, I guess it's an orb. Brilliant talent orb, right? If you see it right here, brilliant talent orb, 7,500, right? So when you go over here, this right here, it says it requires 160. Like, I'm no mathematician, but okay, hold on. Okay, Google. 160 times 7,500. $1,200,000 gems? Huh? Now, here's what I would probably... I'm willing to bet, because if you just use gems, that is a stupid amount, right? But if you remember for the tomes, like if you use gems for tomes, it's a stupid amount, but there are packs for it. So I am willing to bet that for these stones or orbs, whatever the hell they are, there are going to be packs, like a $5 pack that goes up to $99, that are going to give you these orbs. That way you don't actually have to buy it with gems, similar to the tomes, right? Because when you just do the math, and that's a lot of gems, man. It wouldn't even make sense to need 1,000,000 gems for each one. Like, that wouldn't make sense. So yeah, I'm sure, I'm almost 100% sure that there is going to be a pack for this. So and yeah, I guess that's it. So out of all of this, right, just to put it in a vacuum, a lot of these familiars sound decent. Like, okay, that's actually pretty good. Doesn't sound OP, whatever. The orbs, I'm sure there's going to be a pack, so I wouldn't freak out on that. Unless you're free to play, then yeah, that might mess you up. But everything else seems like, you know, it's doable. I can see it. The only one that really freaks me out are these right here. Increases infantry attack by 100% when 10% of your infantry troops have fallen. That wouldn't be nearly as bad if it did not stack, but it stacks. So it scares me. It scares me. Hopefully, it's not as bad as they make it sound right there. But I guess we will have to see. Also, of course, I didn't really go over the research because we need to get a lot more information on that. I will tell you this much though. One of the very last researches only takes your might up by 5 million. I say only, but you know, it's when you have researches that take your might up by like 14 million and stuff. If the last research is only 5 million, I'm willing to bet that the days it takes to research them isn't as terrible as you might think. It might still take a lot, but considering that they use anima instead of tomes, now they're going to use anima, it might not be as bad as some people might think. So, but again, we'll wait until this actually comes out in order to give you a better understanding on the research and what it might cost, etc. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like I said, we went over most of the stuff, but it's so much information to unpack that we have to wait until it's here and try it out before we know a bunch more information. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, and until later.